Shalom Haverim. Hello friends. I have a question for you today. Has the church replaced Israel? Is this what your church teaches? Let me ask you this. Can or would God lie? Let's look at the scriptures and see what do they bear out. In Numbers 23 verse 19, God is not a human who lies or a mortal who changes his mind. When he says something, he will do it. When he makes a promise, he will fulfill it. So evidently, he doesn't lie. He doesn't change his mind. Again, let's look at Hebrews 6, verse 17 and 18. Therefore, when God wanted to demonstrate still more convincingly the unchangeable character of his intentions to those who were to receive what he promised, he added an oath to that promise, so that through two unchangeable things, in neither of which God could lie, we who have fled to take a firm hold on the hope set before us would be strongly encouraged. So there you go. God doesn't lie. God doesn't change. Okay, so let's look at some more verses regarding does God change. Malachi 3 verse 6. But because I Adonai, the Lord, do not change, you sons of Yaakov, Jacob will not be destroyed. Here's a verse from the Brit Hadashah, the New Testament. James chapter 1 verse 17. Every good act of giving and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father who made the heavenly lights. With him there is neither variation nor darkness caused by turning. So let me ask you this. Why would God cancel his everlasting covenants he made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Did he cancel the covenant with Moshe, that he would never again flood the earth? Or was each covenant added to the next? Let's look at the scriptures. Genesis chapter 12, verses 1 through 3. Now Adonai the Lord said to Abram, get yourself out of your country and away from your kinsmen and away from your father's house, and go to the land I will show you. I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you. And I will make your name great, and you are to be a blessing. And I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse those who curse you. And by you all the families of the earth will be blessed. Okay, that's the Abrahamic covenant. Now let's look at the covenant he gave to Isaac. Genesis 17, verses 18 to 21. Abraham said to God, if only Ishmael could live in your presence. God answered, no, but Sarah your wife will bear you a son, and you are to call him Isaac, which means laughter. And I will establish my covenant with him as an everlasting covenant for his descendants after him. But as for Ishmael, I have heard you, and I have blessed him. And I will make him fruitful and give him many descendants, and he will father 12 princes. And I will make him a great nation. But I will establish my covenant with Isaac, whom Sarah will bear to you at this time next year. Genesis 28, verses 10 through 14. Yaakov, Jacob, this is the covenant he made with Jacob. Jacob went out from Beersheba, and traveled toward Haran, and he came to a certain place and stayed the night there because the sun had set. He took a stone from the place, put it under his head, and lay down there to sleep. He dreamt that there before him was a ladder resting upon the ground with its top reaching to the heaven, and the angels of Adonai were going up and down on it. Then suddenly Adonai was standing there next to him, and he said, I am Adonai, the God of Abraham, your grandfather, and the God of Isaac, your father. The land on which you are lying I will give to you and to your descendants. Your descendants will be as numerous as the grains of dust on the earth. And you will expand to the west and to the east, to the north and to the south, and by you and your descendants all the families of the earth will be blessed. Well, let me ask you this. A lot of people think that, the new covenant, the Brit Hadashah, was given to the church, and certainly to all Christians. But was it really? Let me ask you. Let's look at Jeremiah 31, verse 31. Here the days are coming, says Adonai the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. It will not be like the covenant I made with their fathers on the day I took them by their hand and brought them out of the land of Egypt, because they for their part violated my covenant, even though I for my part was a husband to them, says Adonai. For this is the covenant I will make with the house of Israel after those days, says Adonai. I will put my Torah within them and write it on their hearts, and I will be their God, and they will be my people. No longer will any of them teach his fellow community member or his brother, "Know Adonai," for all will know me, and from the least of them to the greatest, because I will forgive their wickednesses and remember their sins no more. Yes, this has not been fulfilled yet, nor will it be completely fulfilled even when Yeshua reigns. I beg and implore you, look at Isaiah chapter 2 and Micah, I can't remember if it's chapter 6 or 7, but I think it's 7. What does it say there? All the nations of the earth during the millennial reign, when Jesus reigns for 1,000 years, will be streaming to Jerusalem to learn the law, God's instructions. So why would you believe the church has replaced Israel? The good news, dear friends, is that hopefully you understand you're grafted into Israel and you're not a replacement of them. When Yeshua Jesus spoke of this, was it brand new, or were people always welcome to join the house of Israel? Let's look at Exodus chapter 12. The Hebrews did not leave Egypt alone. In verse 38 we read, "A mixed crowd also went up with them, as well as livestock in large numbers, both flocks and herds. So there were Egyptians and other foreigners who saw the plagues and miracles in Egypt and decided to believe in the one true God. When God gave instructions to Moshe, regarding the feast of Passover, Moses asked, what about the foreigners? God said, they may not partake in it unless the men are willing to be circumcised. They and every male or slave in their family, then they may participate in it. In verse 47, it says, the whole community of Israel is to keep it. If a foreigner staying with you wants to observe Adonai's Passover, all his males must be circumcised. Then they may take part and observe it. He will be like a citizen of the land, but no uncircumcised person is to eat it. The same teaching is to apply equally to the citizen and to the foreigner living among you. As you can see, the foreigner was invited back in Exodus to freely participate and become part of Israel. There was to be one set of instructions, commonly referred to as law in most Bibles, for everyone from the very beginning. Now, I can just imagine how most of you were taught the law was done away with, or doing a quick backstroke away from accepting this idea in your mind. First of all, let me assure you with some scriptures this isn't contrary to the teaching of Yeshua Jesus or any of his Talmudim disciples. There has been a great deal of misinterpretation of the text from Hebrew and Greek into English in order to back the traditions and teachings, doctrines of men. If you will read a bit of historical documents about the early church, you'll be surprised and shocked at how anti-Jewish many of their writings were. And you should not be surprised that the interpretation of our scriptures from the original languages into English is so distorted. So I beg you, open up your Bible and get yourself out a concordance, or you can go to BibleHub.com and start looking at the original scriptures. You'll be surprised at what they say. God bless and have a great day.